wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic. Got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this. Freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus. Living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it. Go on and take your aim. Yeah.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Friday. It's a great Friday here at Betting Pros. The NBA live stream is ready to roll as we get to the end of the NBA season. Coming off last night, a profitable night yet again. Positive, hit some games, hit some props. Let's keep the momentum going today here at Betting Pros. I'm Mike Randall. You can follow me on Twitter at RandallRant, and we are going to continue to be joining you Wednesdays and Fridays. This week we did Thursdays and Fridays here on the YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe, hit like. We've had some fantastic giveaways, De'Aaron Fox jerseys, Dennis Rodman jerseys, and others are sure to follow soon. So don't forget to subscribe and like, throw in your comments, ask your questions, or brag about the picks that you like tonight in the chat, and we will get to those certainly. Books we use here, as always, DraftKings, FanDuel, PointsBet, BetMGM. Always important to shop around. And don't forget those deals that are coming fast and furious with sports betting becoming more and more legal across the country in different states. New users to BetMGM, $10 in any event you want to bet. You'll win 150, that's right, 150, 15 times in free credits, regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just use the promo code JUICE150 at sign up. The link can be found in the video description or pinned in the live chat. Very tricky game tonight, folks. We want to see the teams that have something to play for and the teams that don't. A lot of line shifting, especially with our first game here where I'm going to go to a side in total. I'm actually making a pick right now that was different than the pick I was making 4 hours ago. Let's start here. Knicks minus 3.5 versus Washington, minus 110 on DraftKings, and the over of 223.5 minus 110 on FanDuel. I loved the Wizards in this matchup until I heard that Kristaps Porzingis, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope are out for tonight's game. It was Washington -1. I was all over the Wizards. Knicks going for their 5th straight road win. I wasn't buying it. And Porzingis against the Knicks, love the revenge game spots. Last two times they played, Wizards have played well. They covered at the Knicks at Madison Square Garden just 1 month ago, but this is a different team now. The Knicks are not tanking. They probably should be, but they have not. They have played very well down the stretch, and this should be their fifth consecutive road win. The Knicks don't have a legit top end player like a Julius Randle who went off for 18 and 17 in their last matchup, but they do have RJ Barrett who can get hot, and wings attacking the Wizards have done just that. So we like RJ Barrett, even though they're a little weak inside without having Randle. This is the last home game of the year for Washington. It's fan appreciation, but if they really cared that much, why would they be sitting Porzingis and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope? Looks like a rest spot here. This line has flipped. I don't trust the Wizards, who've been playing pretty good defense here, but I don't trust them in this spot against the Knicks, who have shown some fight, who have come back in the fourth quarter against Miami, getting a big win on the road during this last streak here over the last 2 weeks. So I am going to lay the points, my first bet, with the Knicks, -3.5 versus Washington, -110 on DraftKings. Washington does tend to score. They have gotten some points, and they've played pretty well. They are 112.4 points per game at home. Knicks are just 106 points per game on the road. But in this matchup, like I said, Wizards are going to be shorthanded, which means the defense is going to be less than it normally is. And I think the Wizards still find a way to post some points here tonight. Thomas Bryant, bobblehead night. Who knows? Maybe he actually has a good game. But I'm laying the points with the Knicks, and we're going to take the over here because I think defenses are going to be weak. That's a trend that we've seen over the last couple games where the defenses haven't played well when they're going with subs. Third pick here after that first side in total, Utah -1.5 versus Phoenix -114 on FanDuel. This is a huge spot for Utah. And if I'm going to go down with my bets, I want to go down with teams that are motivated to play. Utah, last home game of the year. A win clinches the division. A win clinches the 5 seed. All the reasons to play well tonight. Jazz 21-18-1 against the spread at home. Suns are clearly resting their players as they should be. They have not covered in 4 straight games before that miracle cover against the Clippers the other night. They were down 39 points, somehow came back to cover. I choose to look at that game, the fact that they got down 39 points rather than the comeback. That was a mirage. That's not going to happen in Utah, where the Jazz really need this game. Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, Royce O'Neal, all rested in Utah's big win against Oklahoma City. They blew them out. They should be ready to go tonight. Jazz had a player-only meeting as well to get themselves right for the playoffs. If you buy into Narrative Street, you can go down that road as well. Suns have won 3 of 4, but they haven't covered. Not a big of an issue tonight. The line is so small here. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Suns, you always want to back a motivated team, and that's what the Jazz are. Division on the line, 5th seed, after resting their players with a, in theory, renewed chemistry with the players-only meeting against a Sun team that has nothing to play for. I just don't see it. It's a small number. If it was 5 or 6, sure, given the way the Suns come back, I'd be a little concerned. Not here. Pick Utah, -1.5 versus Phoenix, -114 on FanDuel. Make sure to get questions, comments, or just brag about your picks tonight in the live chat as we go through. 2 more sides here I want to talk about. First off, Dallas -18 versus Portland -110 on FanDuel. Folks, this is very easy. Dallas needs this win. The Trailblazers are bleeding losses. I understand that Dallas, this is a big number. The Trailblazers have lost multiple games by 20-plus points during this streak. They are like 2-14 over their last 16 games. Chris Dunn is actually out now. I just don't see why Portland will put any effort up here. They have shown that they can lose by 25 or 30 points. Dallas needs this game, and I love backing teams with big numbers as home as favorites if they play defense, and Dallas certainly does, because defense always shows up, and that's what's going to happen tonight. I expect the Mavericks to be up 10.5 and cruise to a nice 20-point win. The line is rising in many of the books, 19.5, no problem. 20-point win here. This is not a flat spot for the Mavericks with Luka Doncic, who may not hit his over, spoiler alert, on his total prop, but he's going to play well enough to get this lead up there. They're great at home. The Trailblazers have no reason to play well. It's a big number, and I'm laying it. Dallas -18 versus Portland -110 on FanDuel. Last game here, folks. You have to think differently. Brooklyn playing Cleveland. Brooklyn is favored by 8.5 over Cleveland. Logic says no Jared Allen, haven't been playing well, the Cavs. really struggling. Here comes Brooklyn, Kyrie, Durant. They have the sex appeal. Teams always like to back the Nets. Bettors like to back the Nets. But folks, I'm going the other direction. Ignore your gut and go by the numbers. The Cavs this year, 20-18-2 against the spread on the road. Brooklyn, an abysmal, I mean abysmal, 8-30-1 against the spread at home. That is the worst record against the spread in the NBA. Majority of bets and money, as you would expect, is on the Nets tonight, just the way we like it. Cavs are 1-2 against the Nets. They lost by 10.5, and they won at home as well. They have a different construction now. No Jared Allen, and the Cavs have been bleeding losses, lost 7 of 9, but I think they keep this one close. Why? Darius Garland on fire, 25-10 basically since March 1st, 25 points, 10 assists per game, has been scalding hot from three-point range in the last week. The Nets get eviscerated by opposing point guards. 5th most points allowed this season in the last 7 games, 5th most points allowed overall this year. Three-pointers galore in the last 7 and 15 games. Point guards are roasting them from beyond the arc. That's what you're going to get from Garland. And a little bonus, looks like Evan Mobley will be back tonight and should play a little bit. Don't know how effective he'll be, but he certainly can help them cover, and that's what Cleveland is going to do. Cleveland plus 8.5, minus 110 on DK. The Cavs to keep this one close, even on the road in Brooklyn. Time to look at our player props here. Always go to the cheat sheet. Prop bet cheat sheet at BettingPros is the best around. Check out all the props there. We give you projections. They are updated constantly. So we have some Lakers props that are coming in right now that you definitely can take a look at. Here are my picks. Spoiler alert, you heard this one already. Darius Garland of Cleveland, over 2.5 made three-pointers. That's plus 120 on BetMGM. Garland has been hot. He has eclipsed this in 4 of his last 5, 6 of his last 7. He has hit 3 or more three-pointers in 4 of his last 6. Like I said, Brooklyn struggles to guard the arc. Kyrie and Durant are not great defenders. Garland is going to be able to keep this game close. This is a game the Cavs absolutely want. They want to stay in that 7 spot, which is a very tenuous position right now because they want to host that 7-8 game and get themselves in the playoffs. Garland's going to have a monster game. Why did I pick 2.5 threes? Because of the plus money, plus 120 on BetMGM. I think Garland at least gets 3. Let's see if he gets one right off the bat to make us comfortable for the rest of the night. First prop pick, Darius Garland, over 2.5 made threes tonight at Brooklyn, plus 120 on BetMGM. Next one, right church, wrong pew. Caris LeVert of Cleveland, over 17.5 points, minus 115 on DraftKings. This is number 27 on our BettingPros cheat sheet. He's projected by our metrics to go 19.1 points tonight, 35 minutes per game for LeVert. He's beat this in 2 of 3. The Nets defense struggles. This has a very high total. By the time tip-off comes tonight, folks, this total could be the highest on the slate. LeVert will be allowed to get his numbers, and certainly we love revenge games. Caris LeVert, again, pick your props consistent with your sides and totals. I think Cleveland keeps it close. I think Cleveland's in a battle with the Nets tonight, so we're going to back Garland with his threes, and we're going to back Caris LeVert because somebody else has to score without Jared Allen in the middle. LeVert over 17.5 points, minus 115 on DK. Next, DeMar DeRozan of Chicago, over 27.5 points, minus 115 on DraftKings. You have the Bulls tonight who are struggling down the stretch against a Hornets team that has won last night. They had a big win. We got the under right on that game against the Magic, but we did not get the spread. But please keep in mind that the Hornets were up about 20, 25 points in that game. And even with Mo Bamba getting injured 2 minutes into the game, we actually had that game down to 13 again in the second half. So the Charlotte defense is not something I'm buying into. Number 7 on our BettingPros cheat sheet, we're going here. DeRozan over 27.5 points. He's projected for 30 against Charlotte. They are home. They need this game. Levine is back, and he's been playing, but he has been playing up to his normal self. You just saw DeRozan torch the Bucks, getting these points against the Bucks, and this team is not nearly as good. I question if Charlotte's really going to give you a great effort, and if they do give you a good effort tonight, it's going to be high scoring. DeMar DeRozan at home, making his push for first team All-NBA, over 27.5 points. Number 7, a top 10 pick on our BettingPros cheat sheet. We have him for 30. Next up, a hold your nose play. The number 1 pick on our BettingPros cheat sheet tonight is the fantastic rookie Jalen Green of Houston, under 23.5 points, minus 100 on points bet. This is number 1 for us. We only project him for 18.7 points. Why? Because he's playing the Raptors. The Raptors defense, one of the tops in the NBA, especially the last couple weeks. They just slowed down James Harden the other night. And now, whether players rest or not, Fred VanVleet is already out. I think they get Green under this number. Green has been scorching. That's why this is a hold your nose play. 30, 35 points, 40 points. We have him projected here at BettingPros for 18.7 points. Green is not great on the road either. Only 15.7 points per game this year. He did have 30 against Brooklyn, but as we talked about, that's Brooklyn's defense. Toronto is much better. Nick Nurse always tends, like Bill Belichick in the NFL, to scheme out the best player. They should win this game comfortably, 11-point spread. Who are you scheming out? It's either going to be Green or Kevin Porter Jr. I think they take the rookie out tonight. Toronto's defense is elite the last 2 weeks. That's why we're going Jalen Green under 23.5 points, minus 100 on PointsBet. Going back to the Bulls game, Nikolai Vucevic, Chicago, over 10.5 rebounds, minus 115 on PointsBet. This is a top 40 player to BettingPros cheat sheet. We project him for 11.4 rebounds tonight. 2 games against Charlotte, 15 rebounds per game. Plumlee inside is not an impediment to the opposing center getting rebounds. If you remember back a couple months ago on this live stream, one of the bets that went down, I had Jared Allen under against Charlotte as the center for Cleveland. He posted 24 and 22 in that game. So I've been tracking centers against Charlotte, and they certainly have performed well. Vooch here, I'm worried about the scoring because not always does he get up to 20, 22 points, and the juice on those is a little not appealing whatsoever, but his rebounds is 11.7 rebounds per game at home. He hasn't played much the last 2 games because they were blown out. Like I said, the Bulls aren't playing well. I expect a premium effort tonight in a 2.5-point game spread at home. The Bulls want to right the ship before the playoffs. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for those who have Vucevic and DFS or on their season-long teams. I think he gets over 10.5 rebounds tonight, which is why we're taking it. Minus 115 on PointsBet. Vucevic over 10.5 rebounds. Couple left. Trae Young. I love Trae Young tonight. So I'm doing 2 picks here for Trae Young, but I'm doing it in a certain way. Trae Young under 10.5 assists, plus 100 on DraftKings. Trae Young is projected for 9.3 assists on our BettingPros cheat sheet. Number 33, it's a top 35 pick here on a cheat sheet. He has only reached this in 4 of his last 10 games. He's only crested 10.5 assists in 4 of the last 10. And against Miami, he's only averaged 7 assists per game. He's never even gotten 10 assists against Miami. 7, 9, and 5. He's never beaten it. I think we have a lot of Trae Young tonight in a game Atlanta wants to win, but Miami is still tough. I think they limit you on defense with the assists. I think this is a Trae Young scoring night. I don't think this is a Trae Young assist night. I think the Heat will rest. I don't expect to see Kyle Lowry tonight, so I think Young can score, but I think he's going to have to do it himself, and I just don't think he's going to get to 11 assists. 11 assists is hard. He could have 35 points and 8 assists. He could even have a triple-double, but not necessarily get to 11. So Trae Young under 10.5 assists tonight in a big game in Miami, and we're going the other way with his points. I don't see how Trae Young doesn't get to 30 tonight. Over 27.5 points, minus 110 on DraftKings. So I don't like Young's assists, but I do like his points tonight. He has beaten this total in 4 of 5. He's getting 28 or more in 4 of his last 5. I think you're getting a suppressed number. Why? Because when he's gone against Toronto, he's only averaged 22.3 points per game. This is a different situation. It is resting players with Miami. It's a critical game for Atlanta. They need this win. They don't want to go on the road for the 9-10 game. They want it to be in Atlanta. Young is going to score. You've seen in the last couple games, he can get hot early, and then when the money is on the line late in the game, he's taking shots, and you know he gets to the free throw line at almost an annoying rate, people have told me on social media, and that's where he can easily get 8 to 10 points. So Trae Young, not giving out the assists, but is scoring the points over 27.5 points. And my last one tonight, because the Wizards are resting people and because I think the Knicks are still committed to playing well and not tanking, R.J. Barrett of the Knicks over 20.5 points, minus 110 on BetMGM. You have seen Barrett have fantastic production games. He's been active. He's been hitting shots, and the Wizards struggle with wings. They struggle with wings that drive, that don't just rely on shooting 3-pointers. Barrett will be in attack mode. I could see this being similar to an Anthony Edwards game last night where he was hot early and they just kept going to him. I don't see how the Wizards win this game with no Kuzma, no Porzingis, no KCP, which means the Knicks are going to win. And if the Knicks are going to win without Randall on the floor, it's going to be a big Barrett game. Wouldn't be surprised if he got to 30, but I'm pretty sure he gets over 24.5. The line is still 3, folks, so it's not going to be a Knicks blowout, which I think works to our advantage. There's only a couple games left. I certainly think Barrett's going to play big minutes here. So big minutes against the poor Washington team that's resting players, no problem for me. RJ Barrett over 24.5 points. So just to recap, folks, sides tonight, and again, our props always follow the sides. Knicks minus 3.5 versus Washington and the over 223. Utah in a game they need to have, winning the division. Yes, winning the division and seeding matters in the NBA. Minus 1.5 versus Phoenix, who has no reason to play hard. Dallas to absolutely destroy the Trailblazers at home, potentially 25 or more. We're laying the 18 there. Cleveland in a hold your nose spot in a game that the money is pouring in on the Nets. We're going to take the Cavs plus 8.5 and our props. Garland over 2.5 made threes. LeVert over 17.5 points. Those are for Cleveland. DeMar DeRozan to continue scoring to try to hammer home that first team All-NBA against a poor Charlotte team over 27.5 points. Jalen Green struggling on the road, even though he's been hot, sort of a contrarian play, under 23.5 points for the Houston player. Nikolai Vucevic over 10.5 rebounds against the Hornets, again in that game at home that the Bulls really want to have to right the ship. They've been bleeding losses. Trae Young to not get over his assists, but to get over his points in a big game against Miami, who should be resting players. We'll hear about that in an hour. And finally, RJ Barrett in the Knicks win to lead them there with a high 20s or low 30s total. Folks, that's it. We join you Wednesdays and Fridays. Make sure to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel. Make sure to like, put your comments in. Follow me on Twitter at Randall Rand, folks, and make sure to come back here every Wednesday and Friday because we have some great giveaways here at Fantasy Pros. Nothing better. We had De'Aaron Fox jersey. We had Dennis Rodman jersey. Who knows what's coming next? Stay tuned. I'm Mike Randall. We'll see you next week, folks. Wednesday and Friday. Hope we make some money.